Thompson, your host for Pecan Pie. Today's guest is a leader in igniting change. She is a master communicator and has been a community advocate for more than a decade. She is co-founder of the Possibilities Institute. That's right, sweetie pies. Today is all about Tameika Isaac Devine. Hello, Tameika.
Hey, Michelle. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. I'm elated. You know, my sweetie pies and I, we are so happy to have you on today. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I am honored to be a part of this segment, and I'm glad to say hey to your sweetie pies.
Well, let's just go ahead and say hello to the sweetie pies. Hey, sweetie pies. Okay, so now let's just get right into it. Can you please tell my sweetie pies and some of my new viewers a little bit about yourself, what you do, and your contribution to the community?
Okay. Well, I am a wife and a mom, first and foremost. I am married to my very best friend, Jamie. We have been married for 15 years now. And then we have amazing children. We've got a 12-year-old Tamia, 7-year-old Jade, and 14-month-old Jameson. And then we also have an angel baby, a baby who was born into heaven, James Henry. And in addition to those things in my personal life, I am a practicing attorney with my own law firm, Jabber & Isaac. I am an elected official. I've been serving the citizens of the city of Columbia for 16 years now as an at-large councilwoman. And then I'm also the founder of my own peak performance consulting, public speaking and coaching firm, the Possibilities Institute.
Wow, you wear a lot of hats, a lot of hats. That's amazing. Well, you know, Tameika, you do a great job working with our other leaders in the city, and Columbia is definitely thriving, it's growing. But what experience did you have out in the community that made you see that, you know, people have dreams, they have aspirations, but before reaching their possibility, they sometimes give up?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. So as an elected official and the only female on city council, I get asked to speak a lot. I speak at a lot of events, women's conferences, women's days, colleges. And what I found over the years as I was speaking, when I'd come off stage, I always had people who would come to me and say, oh my gosh, Miss Devine, you know, what you said was so inspiring. How can I, you know, be a professional woman and balance home life? Or, you know, how can I start my own business? You said you started your own business when you were running for office. How can I do that? And so I'd always have people come to me with the how to, how can I? And what I noticed behind that question always was some self-doubt, maybe not exposure to what is possible for them. And so I was just kind of figuring out how can I, in addition to what I was already doing as an elected official and what I do with my law firm, how can I empower particularly women to really live their best life and know what possibilities are out there for them. So they birthed the Possibilities Institute, and I've just had an amazing opportunity to work with some amazing women to help them realize their dreams.
Wow, that's beautiful, because you know what? Everyone has possibilities, everyone has a vision, and the Possibilities Institute helps them see it come to fruition, as we'll learn, sweetie pies. But tell us a little bit more about the Possibilities Institute and how you help individuals and companies and all of that great stuff.
Okay, so like I mentioned before, it is a peak performance, meaning I help you with your ultimate performance and how you get there. Peak performance, public speaking, consulting, and coaching firm. And so through that, I do public speaking. People can book me to speak at their events, whether it's Women's Day events, conferences, colleges, even coming in and doing corporate presentations. I've done several around town, particularly for women in leadership for different companies. And so I do that. My consulting, mainly I work with companies or organizations if they have women in leadership and they want somebody to come in and talk to the women about leadership skills, leading in a male-dominated area, those kind of things. And then my coaching practice, which is really, really near and dear to my heart, is where I get to work one-on-one or in small groups with women, or even I have a few men who really want to hone in on their leadership abilities and their dreams and goals. And so with that, is specialized with work-life integration strategies, because as you've heard, all the hats that I wear, a lot of people ask me, Tameika, how do you do it all? You know, you're a wife and mom and a lawyer and elected official, and you have a business. How do you do it all? And what I realized is that I think that's why some people don't go after their dreams, because they feel like, how can I have the time? How can I do this? And they're worried that they'll fail. And so I really try and hone in on what your leadership abilities are, and then how do you integrate work and life so that you can have the most amazing career possible, but you also have a very happy and fulfilled home life.
Wow, that's a beautiful answer. And it kind of puts me in mind of personal and professional development. Sweetie Pies, that is so crucial to individual growth, because personal and professional development helps a person achieve their possibilities. Explain to us a little bit more about how you help individuals with that personal and professional development so that they can develop as an individual.
Okay, so I will tell you that, you know, there are a lot of people out there who will say they can do this, but I'm one that I believe that investment in yourself is very important. And so a few years ago, I actually went and got certified as a personal and executive coach. And so through that, I got the skills on how do you help people achieve their personal goals through coaching and consulting and motivation, really. And then how do you help them career-wise as well. And so what I specifically do is, like I mentioned, I do some one-on-one coaching, I have group coaching, and what I do is I work specifically with people to help them figure out, what are your dreams, what are your goals? And a lot of people don't even really know what they are. They say, oh, I want to be a business owner. Okay, well, what kind of business? What excites you? You know, don't just do a job because you can get paid for it, but do something that you like to do, that you're skilled to do, that really God has given you the talents to do. And so I help them hone in on what that is, and then we create an action plan for their life. And then from that we back up and say, okay, what do I need to be doing this week to get to my goals? What do we need to be doing this month? What's your long-term goals? And so what do you need to do now? And so I do that with my personal clients, my one-on-one clients. I have one-on-one, 1 hour a month, and we talk about specifically, you know, even to the point where it's like, if you're trying to start a new business, you know, what are you going to do, and how can your family be a part of that? And then the group coaching, we really we have that accountability of a group, and we meet monthly as a group and talk about what your goals are on a more global basis.
Wow. So to me, it seems like you take what the person has, what they don't have, bring it all together so that they're more well-rounded, so that they can accomplish their possibilities.
Exactly. And then a little bit more than that is that what we try and do is work on the mindset, because a lot of times the reason that we don't go after our dreams and we don't do it is because either somebody has told us we can't, or we haven't seen it done before, or we have kind of that, I call it the little me syndrome. We have that little me in our ear. You know how you remember back in the day when the cartoons and there was like the angel and the devil on someone's ear and they were talking to them. We have that. We have the part of us who are saying, yeah, you can do it, and then we have the part of us who are saying, no, we can't. And a lot of us listen to that part that says, no, we can't. And so I kind of help them identify that so that they can know that you need to, when you hear that, which you'll still hear it, I still hear it, you know how to shut it off and not listen to it and still go after your dreams. And then I think for me, which is particularly unique for most coaches, is I've done it. I've been there. You know, I've run several successful businesses. You know, I ran for office at a time that no one thought I could, and I've served, you know, successfully and effectively for many years now. And so not only do I have the ability, I've been there, but I can help you identify who are those people that need to be on your team to help you get there as well. And I love being able to open doors for people in that way and letting them, you know, build their network and their team to help them achieve their goals.
Yeah, and you know, I like that because that's relatability. So if someone says, you know what, I can't do this, and you can tell them, well, I've been there before. You know, I know how you feel.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Sweetie Pies, one of the things that I want to share with you about the Possibilities Institute is that Tameika has some really great blogs. And I really encourage you to read those blogs. One of the ones that I thoroughly enjoyed was the one about children and money doesn't grow on trees. Can you share that with us?
Yes. So my blog is called A Divine Life. And of course, that's my name, Divine. But Divine is also an acronym, and it stands for doing everything victoriously while intentionally navigating expectations. And what I find is that some of the reason why we don't do what we want to do, or we get overwhelmed or stressed out, is because we don't intentionally navigate our expectations, other people's expectations of us. And so I try and dedicate my blog to real life situations that I've had, and then how do you manage expectations so that, you know, it's not something that you feel like you can't overcome, or that, you know, it can break you, but I try and bring a lighthearted part of that. And so that blog, I really wanted to, one of the things that I've done with my children is from day one, I've always tried to teach them about financial management. You know, I grew up with my parents were both business owners, and I felt like they taught me pretty good about money. But still, when I went to college and I got those little credit card applications, not a job, but a credit card application, I got credit cards, I was charging pizza and all kinds of stuff, not knowing about interest and other things. And so I think it's really important that we teach our children things. And even now, because we usually swipe, and now we have the apps on our phone where, you know, you can buy Starbucks and just put it in, and you walk in and you just pick it up, and your children don't see any money exchanging hands. I think they're growing up not understanding and realizing money. And so that blog, I kind of tried to share that we have an obligation to teach our children at young ages, no matter what age they are, about money, and that there are different ways that you can do it. Fun ways you can do it. You can play Monopoly at home. Good old Monopoly. It was good when we were little. It's good now. It's still good now. And then there's other things. I mean, we have a jar of pennies, and we will count our pennies, and we show them how those pennies add up. And by the time you count all the pennies, you might have $20 and what you can buy with that. And so I want you to think about ways that you can teach your children about money that doesn't sound preachy or anything, but you're teaching them good financial strategies in a fun way. It's also giving you an opportunity to do really great family night things, but you're also instilling in them values that they'll take with them, not just to college, but for years.
Right. Well, you know, Frederica, one of our sweetie pies, had an opportunity to read your blog on Money Doesn't Grow on Trees, and she has a question for you. Okay, so Frederica asks, she says, money is tight, and is tighter when I put aside a small savings each month. However, I stress to my kids weekly on the importance of saving. How do I explain to my kids that even though money is tight, it's always good to have money saved for a rainy day?
That's a great question, Frederica. And one of the things that I would say, a couple things. Number one, it's important, no matter what age your children are, is that you have an age-appropriate conversation with them around what you have, and use examples that they have. So, you know, depending on what age your child is, you need to make sure you're sitting down and telling them, recognize that even though money is tight, it's good to have, you know, what I tell, cash is king, and it'll explain to them that if you don't have money, then you can't do certain things. And so, you know, just perfect example, you know, the Avengers movie is coming out. My kids were like, Mom, you know, let's buy the tickets because I don't want them to sell out. And so I was explaining to them at the time that I didn't have any cash because I didn't have any set aside. And so I explained to them that we can't do that right this second. But, you know, if I set aside cash, you know, periodically, you know, and then I talk to them about their piggy banks, and that I encourage them to set aside money. You know, I think ticket prices are now like $8, $9. Yes. Movies are expensive now. But I explained, I said, well, look, but you have money in your piggy bank, so why don't we go and we can buy the ticket with that? And so I think it makes it real to them that, you know, if you don't save, then when you really want something or need something, you may not have the money to do what you need. But if you start saving money away, and that money accumulates and adds up, then when you have something that you want to do, whether it's just something fun or something that really you need something, you have that money set aside.
Right. Savannah is also another sweetie pie that read your blog, and even though she's a college student, she had a question in regards to money. Savannah, she says that after 4 years of not being able to spend money on simple things like a dress and nice shoes for date night, all I can think about is the money I want to spend on myself when I get my first job. How do I balance saving and spending?
So what I would say, great question. And I commend Savannah at her age asking that kind of question, because there are a lot of women my age and older who still don't recognize the value of that. So what I would tell her, a couple things. Number one is saving is always important. Material things are just that. They're material things, and they will come and go. They will wear and tear, but investments that you make in yourself, long-term investments, either in your personal or professional development, in your schooling, in buying a house, or all that kind of stuff, those are things that are going to have long-lasting value. So you have to concentrate on those things. And so you need to still save, pay yourself first. But you know, I know it sounds cliche, but think about your budget and live on a budget. And what I would tell you, that one of the great things that I know lots of people do, I think, Michelle, you do it, I do it, nowadays, especially with shopping and stuff, especially when you're thinking business attire and whatever, you know, there are great people out there, stylists. There are a lot of business out there that you can hire somebody and say, hey, this is my budget. I want to spend, you know, $100 a month on building a wardrobe. And so you don't have to just go out and just buy it all at one time. You start building, you buy a piece here or there, and you build it, and then you work with a professional that can help you stay within your budget, still look great, and, you know, and build a budget, build a wardrobe and a closet that's going to last you and be able to transform you from your business to your social to, you know, evening. And I think that's the best thing that you should be focusing on right now.
I think so too, and I appreciated that answer significantly, because I have a stylist now that helps me. So hopefully you sweetie pies like the way I look, styled by Ursula. Woohoo! Got to give her a little shout out since you brought it up. And I think that's really important to go to the professionals, because they do it each and every day, and they can show you ways to save money and ways to spend your money, and that's very important. Sweetie Pies, I cannot overemphasize the importance of reading the blogs. You receive invaluable information, not just on money topics, but she also writes in regards to relationships. And I do have a question from another sweetie pie, Karen. She had an opportunity to read your blog on 3 ways you can help your partner reach their goal. And this is what Karen asked. She said, when you have done all you are able to do to assist your partner reach their goal, and you find yourself not receiving the same support, what is a delicate way of bringing it to their attention?
That's a great question. And I love the word delicate. But I think we as women, I think we're very talented at doing things delicate. Sometimes we do it so delicate, it's not obvious. So what I would challenge Karen to do is be willing to have that courageous conversation with your partner, and not be so delicate to the point that you're leaving him trying to figure out what you're trying to ask for. Just ask, tell him what you need. And so I do have a similar blog, a kind of a partner blog to that one, that is the flip side of that. And so I'd encourage people to read that too. And it's about how do you get your partner to support your goals, because that's one thing that I find a lot of my clients, a lot of women, they'll say, well, Tameika, all that sounds great, but you know, my spouse doesn't want me to spend any money to do that, or my spouse doesn't believe that's the right time to start a business, or whatever it is. And so they're so defeated by not having the support at home, they don't go after it. And so part of that is what I always tell them to do is you need to sit down and be very specific with your spouse or your partner and say how they can help you. Sometimes they want to support you, they just don't know how.
Right.
And so you need to ask them and say, you know, babe, you know, this week I need, you know, you to watch the kids because I'm going to need to be working late and do some things. Or, you know, my husband and I, we set our goals for the week on Sunday evenings. We sit down and we write out our goals, and part of the things is that we serve as accountability partners. And so Jamie will say to me, if my goal this week is to send out different proposals for different speaking engagements, and he'll say, okay, how many are you going to send? I'll say 5. He'll say, okay, and you're going to send that by when? But send it by Friday. And send it on Friday, he'll say, Tameika, did you send out your 5 things? I mean, it's very easy because I've told him how he can support me. He can support me by holding me accountable to what I say I'm going to do. And it's not in a nagging way or anything. It's just in a supportive, you know, loving way, because I know this is important to you, so it's important to me, and I'm going to help you be all that you can be by giving you the support that you need.
Right. Thank you for providing all of those beautiful answers for my sweetie pies. And thank you, sweetie pies, for sending in your questions. And again, I cannot overemphasize the importance of reading the blogs. And if you read the blogs and you have questions in regards to the articles, how can someone get in contact with you?
So for all of my blogs, there's always a comment section, and I love interacting because your question, someone else may have that same question and they just haven't asked it. So please feel free to comment, and I always try and go back and respond to the comments. But in addition to that, if people want to reach out to me just even about my blog, I also provide a complimentary strategy session, 30 minutes, to anybody who wants to sit down and say, Tameika, these are some of my goals, this is where I'm challenged, how can you might support me? And that's 30 minutes complimentary. You can go to my website, which is www.possibilitiesinstitute.com. Again, www.possibilitiesinstitute.com, or you can email me, which is my name, Tameika, Tameika, @possibilitiesinstitute.com. And you can email me or go to my website and you can sign up for the discovery session. You get right on my calendar. You get 30 minutes, and I can tell you about the different services that I have, the coaching that I mentioned. If you want to book me for an event to speak, all of that, that's how you can reach me.
Caller. What's the number?
Okay, so the number, you can call me anytime at 803-254-8868. Again, 803-254-8868. Now, I will tell you, when you call, I'm an entrepreneur. I got multi-businesses. When you call that number, because that's the main number you can get me at, you call that number, that's a law firm, so they're going to answer Jabber and Isaac. But again, Tameika Isaac Devine, that's me. So Jabber and Isaac is my law firm. You call there, you leave a message, and if I'm there, I will speak to you then. And if you can't, then they will connect you. They'll put you on my calendar to talk to.
Okay. Now let's talk a little bit more about a subject you're very familiar with, and many women come to you about this subject all the time, and it has to do with that work and family balance. Every woman, for the most part, wants a career, and if you have a family, sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm not giving enough time to my family, or I'm not really working hard on my job because I'm trying to balance the two. What is a good possibility to show people that work and family life is possible?
So my first general answer is exactly what you said is why people get frustrated. There is no such thing as work-life balance. There is no such thing. And I think because we feel like we're trying to achieve something that's unachievable, that's where we get stressed out and feel, like we failed or anything else. And that's why I focus in on work-life integration strategies. And so work-life integration is different. It's completely different than work-life balance. What it is recognizing that you are who you are. When I introduced myself, I told you guys I was a wife and a mom first and foremost. And then I went into, I'm an attorney, I'm a public speaker, a city councilwoman. All of those are who I am. And so I think recognizing that all of those things make up who you are. And so those are integrated. I mean, you can't divide yourself up. So of course you're not dividing your life up and trying to balance it. And so what I would tell women is that our first thing is to recognize that work-life integration is what we're trying to achieve. And so how you achieve that is through different strategies. And so it depends on specifically what your things are. But one of, I give tips and strategies all the time with folks. Again, you can find those on my website and my blog, because I love to share those, and I do webinars about those as well, and come and speak to different groups. But just a couple strategies off the top of my head is, number one, prioritizing and making sure that your priorities reflect what your values are. Because we as women, people will ask us all the time, can you do this? Can you do this? You remember the first time you and I met, and you were like, can you come to this? And you were thinking I might say no, and I was like, yes, because what you're doing aligns with my values. And so it was important to me to do that with you. And so it is important that you recognize how the priorities align with your values. And if something that somebody is asking you to do, or something that you think you should be doing, doesn't align with your values, then you need to respectfully decline it, maybe refer it to somebody else. It's also finding ways to combine different activities. I mean, my kids, they come to different meetings with me. So if I go to a conference, I might have a conference, we go as a family, and then when I get out my meetings, we have family time. And so looking at ways to overlap activities that you have to do so that you don't feel like, oh man, mommy's leaving again on another conference, so I'm not going to be here for my kids. So it's just kind of figuring out how best that works for your life.
Right. And I like that about you. I actually love that about you, because when I see you on social media, you have the girls there, and now you have your son there. And to me, that also teaches them the value of having that integration in their life.
Definitely.
That's awesome. Now I want to talk a little bit about workshops, because you also provide workshops. So will you come to a company or come to someone's home and perform a workshop, or what are the workshops about?
So it varies, and it depends on what people need. So I do annually, I always pretty much do a workshop on vision boarding, because I so believe in the importance.
I went to one of your vision classes.
Yes.
It was so much fun. Please go to one of her vision board classes. I went. It's awesome. And I took my daughter.
Yes, and you see that I try again work-life integration.
Yes.
I'm a mom. I have daughters. I know a lot of women with daughters realize that, you know, that's a good time for you to spend some quality mother-daughter time and show them at a young age the value of vision boarding. But I love vision boarding, so I do vision board workshops. I also do work-life integration workshops, and it just depends on what it is. So if you're having a girls' night out and you think you might want somebody to come in, I'll come to you and do it if you have a group of women. Also for companies, Palmetto Health invited me to come in and speak to their women. TD Bank came in, their women leadership. So it just depends on what you have. But outside of coming to you, periodically through the year, I have my own workshops that I do, and you can always find out about those. If you go to my website and sign up for my newsletter, you'll get everything that I send out, but also you can follow me on social media, and I publicize it there as well.
Right. One of the things that you spoke a lot about is coaching, and everyone understands the importance of having a good coach on the team. Now, a coach in a team doesn't necessarily mean that the team won the game. It means that the coach got all of the players to play up to their optimal level. Can you please share with my sweetie pies why it's so important to get that coach involved in your personal and your professional life so that you can win the game?
I love that question. And so what I would tell you, sweetie pies, is that I'll be honest with you. I think coaching itself has gotten somewhat negative rap. I mean, there are people who say that they are coaches who may not understand how to bring out the best in people, how to work with people on strategies or anything, or, you know, they really are just about kind of getting their name out there or getting money and not really producing a good product. And so I'll be honest with you, I really hate that. I don't call myself a coach, although I do coaching. That's why I say I'm a work-life integration strategist, because I really focus on strategies. But when I got my coaching certificate, when I got certified, it was important to me to get certified, because I felt like if I was going to provide a service to somebody and ask for somebody to make that investment in themselves, and pay me to do it, that I needed to have the credentials behind me to do it. But I would say that one of the things that I really learned as I went through my certification program, and I got certified by Valerie Burton, who is an amazing coach who focuses on positive psychology. But one of the things that I learned from Valerie about coaching was the importance of having a coach is having somebody separate from yourself that can help you identify things that you might be blinded about seeing because it's you.
Right.
And so having somebody help you identify those things, and then having somebody that can give you the support and the accountability and the strategy behind achieving it. And so that's the importance of having a coach, because I'm not going to do it for you. You know, I can't make you I can't produce your business. I can't produce a successful business for you. But what I can do is help you identify what's in you to start that business, what your dreams are, how do you start the business, and then strategy behind building that business. And so that's where I help you unlock those tools and those possibilities inside you to be successful.
Wow, that's beautiful. The other thing I want to talk about in regards to the Possibilities Institute is that it's not just personal, it's not just professional, but you also help individuals with relationships. And sweetie pies, this is where you can acquire either Tameika by herself or her husband, Jamie, or both of them together, because you guys have workshops and you have all types of wonderful information to help people in relationships. Can you share with us about that?
So yes, I will say that going back to having that support at home, you know, my husband is my very best friend. I mean, we run a few businesses together. Possibilities Institute is the one that I majorly run, and he always says, I just show up. That's what he tells me. I just show up when she tells me to. But what we do is, one of the things that I learned is, in order for you to be successful at whatever you want professionally and personally, you got to have that strong support at home. So whether that be your spouse, your children, your parents, your siblings, whoever, you've got to have that strong relationship. But the most part I find with women that are married is, if they don't have communication, if they don't have the support of their spouse, if they don't have that happy marriage, it affects everything else in their life. You're not going to be successful at work, because if you're not happy at home, you're going to come into work angry and bitter and mean to people. You're not going to be able to focus on things. And so it's so important that you have that home life right. And so, you know, Jamie and I, we've been very blessed. We have, you know, we acknowledge, I mean, building a business, having a marriage, raising children has challenges. And so, you know, we're not therapists, but we are real people.
Right.
And we believe in the institution of marriage, and we believe in a partnership of a marriage, not that one spouse is over the other, but that you work together, and that in order to work, part of working together is supporting each other's goals professionally. And so we come out and we talk. We do Christian marriage conferences. We do regular relationship marriage conferences. So we really just want people to understand that your marriage your marriage is a benefit and the strength behind your professional career advancement, not a hindrance.
Right. Sweetie Pies, Tameika made this statement, and it's such a powerful statement. I'm going to read it and have her elaborate a little bit more on it. Tameika said, "There will never be a perfect time to start, but I know that if you keep putting off getting started on living the life you desire, you delay your destiny. Are you ready to live the life God has destined for you? Then let me help you get started." Please elaborate on that statement and tell people how you can help them get started.
So what I would say is that there's always going to be things that we think why something is not the right time. You know, I remember when I first ran for office, I was 28 years old. People were like, "You're too young, you're just starting your career, you need to just, you know, maybe get more involved in the community first." I mean, people had all these other reasons. If I would have believed even just one of those and not done it, I wouldn't be sitting here today. I wouldn't, honestly wouldn't even met my husband. I met my husband while I was campaigning. So I think about that, and that if I had just believed that, then, you know, I wouldn't have. And it was a lot of reasons why I shouldn't do it then, but there was one reason why I should, and it was because it was something important to me. And so I'll tell you that we all have that. We all have something that says, you know, I don't have enough money right now. I don't have enough time right now. My children are still young. You know, I don't think that I have enough experience. You know, there's always things that we think make it not the perfect time for us to go after our dreams. And so if you realize that, there's always going to be something standing in your way, and that means you'll never get there. And so what I advocate to everybody is, start before you think you're ready. You know, start now, because once you get started, it becomes a lot easier to see it as a reality for you. And so that's part of the jump and push that I give my clients. I don't let my clients quit on themselves. I don't let them listen to the negative person in their ear. I give them the support and encouragement and accountability needed to go after their dreams, and even recognizing you're going to have challenges. I mean, when I started my law firm, I was running for office too. I had months that I went without a salary. And it would have been very easy to say, give up and say, I can't live like this. But I didn't give up on myself, and I don't let my clients do that either, because even when you get out there, there's going to be challenges, there's going to be obstacles. You got to recognize that those come with the territory, but you have it within you to get past it. God wouldn't have given you the vision if it wasn't going to be possible for you. And so I just try and help remind my clients of that.
Yeah, that gave me chills. It gave me chills, sweetie pies, because a lot of people don't have that type of support. And to have someone like Tameika in your corner to support you, to encourage you, fulfill your dreams and your visions, it makes you feel enlightened. It makes you feel like there's someone out there who can really appreciate what you're trying to do. And what Tameika does is so important, and it really affects people. I have this testimonial that I want to read to you guys from E. Moore, just to show you the impact that she makes in individuals' lives, her clients. E. Moore said, "I really enjoyed and benefited from working with Tameika as my accountability coach. She helped me to pull back the layers and allowed me to see myself through everything and everyone I am committed to. The part I like the most is she didn't give me all the answers, but she helped me to explore all the possibilities. Through our weekly calls, I accomplished many goals that elevated my vision, my business, and my finances. I would recommend Tameika Isaac Devine to people who have buried themselves in the perception of others. She will help you uncover you and your purpose. Everyone has a purpose, so she will help you uncover you and your purpose." And I re-emphasize that because I feel like that's so impactful. I feel like that's so important, sweetie pies. Tameika, in closing remarks, what else would you like to share with the sweetie pies about the Possibilities Institute?
What I would tell the sweetie pies is, first of all, thank you for watching, and thank you, Michelle, for inviting me. This has been so much fun. It's like talking to an old girlfriend. But what I would say is that, we all have dreams, we all have goals, we all have the ability to be very successful. I think that through society, through negative people around us, we have played into the narrative that we can't do something because of X, Y, and Z. And so what I would tell you is that if it is a dream that you have, it's a goal that you have, you can do it. I may not be the right coach for you, and that's fine. I always tell people that you've got to have a good relationship with somebody that you're working with. And so I always say that, I don't ever tell people you have to work with me, but I would tell you and encourage you to figure out a way to invest in yourself, whether that's through a class, through a course, through reading, whatever it is. Invest in yourself in your own personal and professional development in order to get there. But if you think that you need that extra support and count, I tell you, I do have a proven track record, if I do have to say so myself, but I've been there. I've been exactly where you are, and I would love to talk to you about how I can help you achieve that goal. I mean, I feel like that's what God has given me in this season of my life, to help people get there. And if you want to do that, please reach out to me, and I'd love to talk to you.
Tameika, you know what? I am so happy that you were here today with my sweetie pies. We've really appreciated having you here today. And I want to ask you, was it as easy as pie?
Oh, definitely.
I'm Michelle Thompson, and this is Pecan Pie. We'll see you next time.